Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook network.
You're jumping the gun on one of our subjects there.
Correct. Absolutely. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm at Fucking Thoughts. He's at Mr. Jared Moore. Again, you'll know why we're laughing in a second. Fuck it. We should probably just get right into it here. Jared, it's been a good week for you.
Sure, whatever. Who cares?
Sure, whatever. Let's get the pack freaking lineup out of the way here so we can get to the Rip and Rant here. So we're back to normal format today. No birthdays, no guests, no anything. So I got a pack of Donruss 2023 Panini jumbo pack here, 30 pack. Obviously the rookies from that class: Bryce Young, Bijan Robinson, CJ Stroud. Looking for Downtown Jersey Kings, Canton Kings, Bomb Squad. We're gonna have a little science experiment for the Flair 95 pack. I'll tease that. I won't get to that into fully. And then Jared's bringing back. He's taking us back to 95 as well here.
Yeah, nothing says Rip and Riff like let's open up a pack of baseball cards from 1995, and we're going with the Dimension 3 MLB card series 1 from Topps. It says on the front, 3D so real it's unreal. Infinite depth perspectives, game action photography, super thick laminated construction. So hopefully my cards also don't stick together because of how old these packs are and with it being laminated. And I wonder what kind of 3D this is, because 3D is one of those things that it's always it's in style and then it goes away for like 15 years and then it's back in style. Like remember like 15 years ago or so when like 3D movies were back?
Yep. Yeah,
and now nobody cares about them.
I mean, you get better TV quality at home sometimes now,
right? And I feel like this is the same way. Like, I wonder if this would actually be better if I had a decent pair of 3D glasses, or even like I'm not talking about like the cheap ones, like the white paper ones with the red and blue, eye lens or whatever. But I don't know. I'm excited to see what we actually get with this.
Now, a little note about that pack. So, like, I always do a little, I try to look up some info about the pack. The thing that jumped out about me was that it didn't sell well, and like Topps pulled the carpet out from under it because the packs were too expensive at the time, which was $5 a pack. Imagine that. Imagine $5 a pack being too much.
Oh, geez. I wish packs nowadays were $5 a pack. I went to the 7-Eleven by me. They actually have like the Topps MLB cards for this past year. They want $8 a pack for it.
$8 for base Topps.
Now that might be 7-Eleven markup, but still, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so, I mean, to go back to, $5 now, like I'll buy a case of cards at that point for $5 a pack.
It's almost like someone was onto something a few weeks ago when they said this hobby was becoming too damn inaccessible.
You know what? On that note, I think that's time to transition to another good Rip and Rant here. We got some good ones today. It's time to kick things off on Rip and Riff with
my Rip and Rant.
Thanks, Dave. Now I've got 2 today. Jared's got 1. I
think you have to start with what we did before the show, so we don't hold the audience's attention any further.
So this was a very late edition. Like, I noticed this story, like maybe literally 2 minutes before I hit go live, is that Aaron Rodgers did an interview with Tucker Carlson. It's very long, apparently. It's like over 2 hours. But one of the things they talked about in the interview is that Aaron Rodgers does not watch porn because he's, quote, not into that weird kinky shit. Let's start off the bat here by not all porn is weird and kinky. There's very straight, boring, missionary porn, number one. Number two, why are you looking your nose down on it? Not all of us are future Hall of Fame, multi-MVP, Super Bowl champion quarterbacks that can just go out and, we'll say, get in the red zone whenever they want. And, don't look down on it for the rest of us, okay?
Yeah, shout out to Tucker Carlson for getting this scoop, because when I think of, what I like to call the performing arts, I think Tucker Carlson.
Yes, absolutely. First guy, not James Lipton. No, Tucker Carlson.
No, I mean, it's an absurd comment. I will say that I am very particular about what I like, and I have very specific tastes that I will not get into here. But the quote unquote kinky stuff, that's not really one of them. It's if anything, I like the classy, high production value stuff. Nice music playing in the background.
Yeah. I mean, listen,
Yeah.
like, and this is
Something
not.
I feel like I could see at the airport if like watching porn at the airport was normal.
I mean, some people sometimes you got a long layover. And you know, this is not the Jets' first foray into like having porn being mentioned. We all remember Rex Ryan and his wife with the foot fetish, and they were like making the video in the parking lot, like, "Hey, sweetie," he walks up to the car. You remember that? The foot fetish. Oh man.
Yeah, very very much remember Rex Ryan's foot fetish.
So yeah, so I mean, only the Jets could have twice in a decade have that come happen. But that was just like I was like, wow, like we're looking down our nose on porn. Like I don't
Rogers
know
probably has a very weird perspective because he strikes me as someone who hasn't watched porn since he was 18 years old. Because you're Aaron Rodgers, you're a handsome guy. He's dated celebrities. He could date pretty much any. I believe he's still single right now, so he's probably as eligible a bachelor as there is in the U.S. and could realistically be with any woman he wants. So, like, why would you watch porn if you're Aaron Rodgers? I understand why I would watch porn. I don't understand why he would.
I mean, we come from a generation. Like, do you remember the first Playboy you bought? I remember the bodega I got it from. It was the Sable edition. That was the first one. I remember me and my buddies all walked to the bodega. Hey, you guys are 18, right? Oh yeah, we're 18.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's how far back we have to go.
Yeah, 100%.
But that was not my initial Rip and Rant. That just literally came up, 2:58 Eastern time today that I saw it on the feed. The one I was going to give, and I'm a Ranger fan here, and we'll see what happens Thursday night, Game 6. Hopefully they don't let it go to a Game 7. But the Mark Messier Leadership Award was announced, and it went to Jacob Trouba. And I'm a Ranger fan. I can appreciate what he brings to the ice, even though he came very, very close to killing Martin Natchez a couple of games ago with an elbow to the head if he had actually connected with that. And I get that he's got the C on the sweater. How are you going to give a leadership award to one of the most notorious dirty players in the league? Like, I understand leadership and that are different, and maybe he's a great guy in the room and, all that, but like, not a great look to give a leadership award to somebody who headhunts and, doesn't play the game clean all the time.
I'm glad you brought that up because anytime me, the Devils fan, brings it up, they'll be like, oh well, you justified all those Scott Stevens hits, and all I'll say about Scott Stevens is show me the clip of Scott Stevens trying what Jacob Trouba tried the other night. Show me that hit, and I will gladly take everything. You can't because every Scott Stevens hit was clean.
I mean, listen, sometimes maybe but again, within the rules, what he did wasn't wrong. Nowadays, Scott Stevens would probably be some of the hits he would probably be suspended. But back then, it wasn't wrong.
Right, but also like Scott Stevens, yeah, he's also not going to launch off of his skates, and like elbows up and aim for somebody's head. That wasn't a Scott Stevens hit.
No,
like Scott Stevens would, if you weren't looking, he would catch you going over the middle. Yeah, and like he might lead with his shoulder, but he would never like get his elbows up or anything like that. And like. Scott Stevens will certainly lay out big hits. He's certainly go ask Paul Kariya,
Eric Lindros.
Yeah, exactly. So, I found that whole thing interesting. I don't want to disparage the charitable work that Trouba does, which is probably the real reason why he won this award. I find the whole concept of the Mark Messier Award awarded by Mark Messier funny in that it's a made up award. It kind of has the same feeling as the Montgomery Burns Award for Outstanding Achievement in the Field of Excellence.
I forgot about that.
I'm glad you got that reference because, I mean, it just is what it is. Like Mark Trouba picked the captain of the Rangers to win some made-up award that has his name on it. It's like, oh, lo and behold, color me surprised.
Yeah, again, like leadership and dirty play, it can be mutually exclusive things, but it's just not a great look there to give it, especially. And I understand it's voted on, but like the guy literally just, almost, took his forearm and elbow right across.
No, I read doesn't Messier personally pick the winner?
Oh,
that's what I read in the ESPN story.
I okay, then that changes my perspective even more. Like, oh, you picked the Rangers captain, huh? Big surprise there.
So yeah, that kind of is what it is. Do you have anything else on this, or
no? I just thought that was interesting on all that. So yeah, I got my 2 out. You have one as well now.
Yeah. So the Walmart by me sucks. Like, I just hate going there. I'm not going to get into detail why it sucks, other than it's not in a great area and it's not great clientele. And I'll leave that there. But um, I need to go buy motor oil and a filter because I have a deal with my mechanic where I take him the stuff. He does the oil change for me. So not a problem. I have no problem going out of my way to get all that sort of stuff. But I usually go to Walmart for that, which is like the only thing I go to Walmart for. And
Walmart, yeah.
It's just a pain in the ass to do it. So I had to do this yesterday. I was like, I really don't want to go to Walmart. So I was like, you know what? Target's basically Walmart. They sell all the same stuff. I'm sure Target has it. I go to Target. Did you know that Target does not sell motor oil?
I did not, because they're like the in-person Amazon. They have everything. Like, yeah,
Target, I had no idea until I found out yesterday.
That surprised me.
Like, how are you Target? And like, I did a full lap around the store, and maybe your mileage may vary based on location. Maybe this is a Target in a shopping mall at the Palisades Mall. So like, maybe for whatever convoluted reason they just don't carry it because there's not enough space or whatever. But did the full wrap around, the beauty aisle and the CVS, the pharmacy, the grocery area, the sporting goods, like the outdoor goods, the electronics, all the way to like the like camping gear, like outdoor stuff, like patio furniture and stuff like that.
No automotive section?
I couldn't believe it.
Not even like wiper blades, nothing. Not even like a
not even that. If it was there, it's tucked away in a corner somewhere, and I couldn't find it. So I was just stunned, and then I wound up having to go to Walmart anyways to get what I needed.
If you don't like that Walmart, maybe move to the one by Corey Parson down in South Carolina. He makes that Walmart seem like it's one of the best on the planet. So
no, I think next time I go to Walmart, I'm just going to go to the one in over by Woodbury Common. Because it's basically 20 minutes in either direction for me, and I feel like that Walmart's just nicer. It's bigger, it's better, it's newer.
All right, so there you go. So Target, get your stuff together, man. I mean, it's not like Jared went in there looking for like some obscure auto part. Like, okay, fine, they don't have that motor oil,
and it's just this might be a separate, smaller Rip and Rant, but like I just hate going to stores to buy anything in general, just because like the experience of going out to the store to buy anything sucks. Depending on where you go, if you go to like some corporate chain, there's always some guy who's trying to upsell you on something. You go to a place like Target, there's one cashier, everything else is self-checkout, and the self-checkout's broken, so there's a long line. Everything just sucks about like modern economics, the economy, the way the stores operate and all that sort of stuff. Nobody gives you bags anymore. I know this is very old man yells at cloud stuff going on right now, but it just infuriates me. This is the reason why I hate leaving the house.
You know what makes me feel better about stuff like that? Ripping some cards. That's what
Sure, let's do that.
Let's get into it. We got some baseball, we got hockey, we got football, and a little bit of a science experiment coming up. So stay tuned.
Great. So while you get the camera situated, I just brought up the East Coast cam. I'm going to rip this very first pack. We're going to get right into it. And the first thing I tell you, these cards are thick. I mean, they are thick cards. Fortunately, they did not stick together.
That's always good.
I don't know how well you're going to be able to see the hologram effect on it because it just kind of looks blurry, but
you can kind of see the
right there. The greatest hitter of all time, the home run king himself, Mr. Barry Bonds.
Agreed. Listen, I understand how people feel about the steroid stuff, but everybody was doing.
Oh, they're entitled to feel however they feel. They're just wrong.
Yeah,
like he's the home run king. He hit the most home runs. I don't care that he was on all sorts of horse steroids. Like, go back and watch Barry Bonds at bats from 2001 to 2004. Every at bat was an event. ESPN would cut away basically every time he was up at bat chasing another home run milestone to show the at bat of whatever was going on. If they're in the middle of an NBA game or the World Series of Poker or an NFL game, you certainly were well aware of what Barry Bonds was doing at that time, which is brings me to another thing. It's pretty funny how people were complaining a couple of years ago about Aaron Judge when he was going for 62 home runs when ESPN was doing that. And it's like, do you not remember 20 years ago when the ESPN did exactly this?
If Fox would cut in with the McGuire and Sosa bats too, I remember when they were chasing for it. So like, it's not unprecedented. Now here, you want to talk about unbreakable records in baseball? Splash landing hits out in San Francisco in the Bay, out into the Bay over there. There have been 103 total by 29 Giants players. 35 of those are by Barry Bonds. And next on the list is Brandon Belt with 10. Nobody's ever going to get 35 splash landing hits there. Not a chance.
And here's the back of the card as well. And I like this. It gives you, I don't like the whole Star Wars scroll thing on the top there of how they display the stats, but it gives you a nice breakdown of,
Oh, that's
how
cool.
got his
Away,
hits,
day,
his
night.
RBIs.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like that. Kind of a weird font there in the bottom there with the Barry Bonds. I don't want to say it's Comic Sans because it's not Comic Sans, but it's
somebody got a little happy switching fonts when they designed that card. Oh, this one's gonna be this one, this one's gonna be this one. Yeah.
No, but I like these cards. I'm already a big fan. And we go right from him to one of the best players on the Dodgers at that time, when Raul Mondesi.
Also a cannon for an arm from right field. You didn't try to run from third. You didn't try to tag up third from home on him.
Nope, 100%. And yeah, all these cards, the back of these cards, I think all basically. Oh, this one's a little different. It has, excuse me, 1994 hot streak. So it gives you a little, a little quick little synopsis there of like various streaks during the season where he just caught fire.
He looks like a tough guy there. Yeah, I don't know if I want to mess with Raul Mondesi.
I would not mess with him. And I just realized this is a 1995 pack. So these are all 1994 stats. So obviously no mention of anything past August 12th, which was the day of this MLB strike.
That's right. Yeah.
So we go right from them. And man, these cards, they're nice and thick and they are in pristine shape. And all the corners are perfect. How about you go right to Ruben Sierra, one-time Yankee great.
One of the better DH.
Great might be a stretch, but
he was a very, very good DH for a very long time. And he played the outfield too.
Very, very good player. Go right from him to World Series hero Joe Carter.
I remember watching that home run on TV. Like I can still picture it in my head. I mean, I was in my bedroom, and yeah, I couldn't believe, that was the first real walk off like home run thing that was like my first real cool sports moment.
Yep. And last but not least for this pack, Andres Galarraga from your Colorado Rockies.
Big cat. Another guy that could really crush the ball.
Yep. So I got one more pack right here, but just you said there was what, like 50 something cards total in this line?
59, I think, in the set total. It was a limited run set, and like we said, they pulled the plug on it because they weren't selling well because the packs were $5 each, God forbid.
Well, hopefully we get a little variety with this other pack. It was all in the same box, so I would think there'd be some variety there. Moises Alou will be our very first card once I separate it there. Moises Alou, their picture with no batting gloves for very infamous reasons.
Knowing what you know about Jorge Posada now and the reason why he didn't wear batting gloves, if you got the chance to meet him, would you still shake his hand?
Well, I thought that story was just about Moises Alou. Did Jorge Posada not wear batting gloves and strengthen his hands from the same method?
I believe it was from urination. Yes.
I did not know that about Posada. I knew that about Moises Alou. I did not know that about Posada. Would I shake his hand? Yeah, I would probably shake his hand. I mean, he's been retired now for almost 15 years. So
old habits die hard, though. Maybe he just can't help himself sometimes, you know.
No, I'm sure he's not just getting a little splashback on his hands for the sake of it, for old time's sake on a Wednesday.
Toughness on there, yeah.
Ozzie Guillen, the Wizard of Oz there. Great Simpsons cameo, a member of the Springfield softball team.
Ozzie Smith, yeah, I think is he still falling through that like booth right now, like free falling?
He's still falling through the Springfield mystery spot.
Yeah. That's an all-time great episode.
Yep. Player they probably should have got for that episode. I guess they couldn't get him, but would have probably been fantastic. The late great Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Greg Maddux talks about the way he gets talked about and just how good of a hitter he was, and just for as long as he was, and just how likable of a guy he is. He's Mr. San Diego.
There's Ron Burgundy and there's Tony Gwynn.
If you're going to do a San Diego Mount Rushmore, Tony Gwynn, Ron Burgundy.
It's never good when one of the first couple names for your Mount Rushmore is a fictional character.
Do we throw Dan Fouts up there?
Sure, yeah,
And
but this would be like Philadelphia doing Rocky, like.
Yeah. Who would be the fourth for San Diego? Would I Philip Rivers? I don't know. Danian Tomlinson?
Probably. I would go Junior Seau.
Oh, yeah, Seau. I forgot about him. Yeah, that's a good one.
We have 2 more cards here. Mike Greenwell from the Boston Red Sox.
Good player. I have a couple of his random inserts that I don't know why I know that off the top of my head, but I have a couple of good ones of him.
And last but not least, one of the linchpins of those Yankee dynasty teams in the late 90s, Paul O'Neill.
And also a lot of free advertisement to Gatorade over the years from when he would just snap and throw the jug, like the giant jug down in the dugout. I mean, we're talking Hall of Fame, like snap players that really knew how to throw a tantrum. He's the guy.
Yep. So all in all, very happy with these cards. I think they're exactly what I wanted. It's kind of hard to show it here, but the player does pop a little bit when you tilt the card at certain angles.
I could kind of see it a little bit, yeah. But I really like that pack. I mean, I understand why at the time they didn't sell that well, but I mean, in hindsight, like those are pretty cool, especially for mid-90s. That's a high quality card there.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the thing that probably would have worked better as an insert as opposed to like an entire line. But
yeah,
but they did it, and it was well worth the $3 a pack I got it for in 2024.
I'm very happy with those packs. I think you got a nice return on them, and it's definitely some stuff worth saving for sure. So there we go. We kicked off with a little baseball. Now we're gonna go to, before we get to the Donruss football and talk a little dynasty rookie draft. We teased the science experiment before the show, so here's why we're gonna be doing a little bit of science for the 95 Fleer.
Just wanted to demonstrate how stuck this pack is before I put it in the rice. So let's look here. I mean, you could get up close. I mean, the cellophane is stuck to it, like bad. Like I can't even pull it away from like the top or bottom card in the pack. You see this here? It's very stuck. So we'll see if my rice trick worked.
That's right, folks. When you get your phone wet, what do? You put it in a container of rice because you want to get that humidity out of there. You want to get that humidity out of the pack. So in my brain that only works half the time, here we go. We're going to see if this has an effect on the pack.
Yeah, we got to open this one right now. I have no idea if this is going to work. And I went to college for, I was a physics major in college. On a related note, I dropped out after a year. Dumbest major you could take.
I never took physics before, and then sophomore year in college, I was a radio TV production major. There was a class called Physics of Sound and Music. I'm like, oh, it'd probably be good for me to learn acoustics and stuff like that. Yeah, I dropped that class by week. No way. And my science knowledge is not doing good because this pack has not changed in 24 hours. So that's what a science project's for. But hopefully they're not as stuck together as I anticipate. But man, I am not hopeful. You're gonna have to go to the scissors here.
That's never a good sign. It's just gonna be one card we're gonna react to,
and I'm gonna get it'll be like a cool insert in there too, and it'll be or a good rookie. I mean, there wasn't a lot of good rookies from that year. All right, but let's see. Yeah, you can't. Yeah. All right. Oh boy. And my cat has joined us too. Yeah, you know why? Because of the sound of the crank. Okay, good job. All right, so let's get the West Coast Rip Cam going here. And then, yeah, you can see some cat fur there. Oh, that's not for you, dude. So we got Patrick Carnback. So I got to say, so far, not stuck. So far, no damage. Of course, it's on a base card that, nobody cares about. We've got Sergei Krivokrasov, one of the longer names in NHL history there. Next up, let's see what we got here. So, we're going to get to some stuck ones here in a minute. All right, so Joe Neuendijk, all-time great center. I believe won a cup with the Devils at some point. I know he was on.
He did. He was on the 2003 team.
He also won with the Stars. He won a couple. All right, so I got to say, I was worried about it being stuck, and they're stuck, but they're coming apart pretty easily. I do like the look of this set, with you got the staggered player background. It's this is very mid-90s here. Here's Valery Kamensky, very good player for the Nordiques and Avalanche. All right, now you want to talk about a guy that's had an impact on both of our lives, Mr. Mike Modano, probably one of the most important figures in American hockey history.
Yeah, probably a greater impact on you, I would say, than me. Like I've always just appreciated Mike Modano as a player, but I mean the Devils did beat the Stars in that Stanley Cup final, so I don't really hold any ill will towards the Stars.
He was like one of my he was like one of the first guys I gravitated to, like as a favorite player, a guy I liked watching. He was cool. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. Hopefully this one's not stuck. We've got Mr. Nikolai Habibulin, aka the Bulin Wall.
How about that?
Good. It looks like he just let one in there based on the pose, but looks like he's looking behind him.
I can't really tell what team's he with there.
That's the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, I see the logo on the bottom right.
So I got so we go from one goalie to another. We got Jamie Storr, who was a backup with the Kings and a few other teams during his day. I was really worried about this pack. I think we're going to come out okay here. Let's see. Next, we got Gilbert Dion, picture with the Flyers there. Larry Murphy, one of the better defensemen of the 80s and 90s right there. Pictured as a Penguin. All right. So we got Dmitry Mironov, solid defenseman in his day, pictured with the Leafs there. Scott Mellenby from the Florida Panthers. And then finally, we wrap up with a cool little one of the inserts here. Kirk McLean, who also played with the Panthers, but pictured here with the Vancouver Canucks in the Netminder series.
Very nice. Very nice pack there. Like the design of those cards, like that one as well.
They got a little, and then the backs of these cards here too. You don't get the full stats. Oh no, you do. This is when they would still put the full stats on the card. They'd make it fit. But yeah, you can see in
the. Were the cards damaged or not really?
Maybe the rice helped. Maybe it just enough. No, maybe. I'm not ready to discount the rice yet. All right, now let's get to the meat and potatoes here. We're here to talk a little football today. Let's do it. How'd you feel about the rookie draft in our league? Both of us did not have high picks, so like we can't, we weren't getting the,
the cream of the crop.
Yeah, we weren't getting the Malik Neighbors of the world. I didn't pick till 410, just to give you an idea.
Right, I didn't pick till 405, so I was thrilled to get. I was thrilled that Michael Penix fell that far. Probably only fell that far because he's going to be in Atlanta and he's going to be behind Kirk Cousins, but I also have Kirk Cousins in this league, so that just was a no-brainer home run pick for me.
For me, I did manage to get Dylan Laub from the Raiders because, I mean, who knows? He's got as good a chance of winning that job as of anybody else, so I was happy to get, a dart throw like that, at least at 410, but, like, Cedric Wilson, IDP linebacker is another guy I got. The Cowboys receiver, Flournoy, maybe he takes over that third spot. A lot of dart throws at that point, but nonetheless, let's talk football here. Dalvin Cook picture with the Jets. So, we were talking before the show, you're looking for a Simone Nemec Young Guns card, which is tough to find, but they were able to get Dalvin Cook on the Jets real quick in that set.
They were, even though obviously he's still pictured with the Vikings there. And hopefully for Dalvin Cook, that won't be a last card. I know he signed with I want to say the Ravens. I think he signed with, and hopefully he's got a couple of years left. I don't think he's completely washed up yet. I mean, I know he wasn't good on the Jets last year, but I think there's extenuating circumstances there.
And speaking of Vikings running backs, I mean, I know he's not with the team anymore. Cam Akers, I think he's probably his second Achilles injury is probably it for him, I would imagine, right?
I mean, it's tough to come back from that, especially when you're a running back and you're relying on speed. So,
all right, now let's see here. We got let's talk Devonta Smith on the Eagles there. This 2023 Donruss pack there. Eagles drafted a couple of receivers too. Johnny Wilson was one they got. They go at Aeneas Smith was another one. So they are adding depth there for sure.
Yeah, Johnny Wilson was a guy I grabbed late in the dynasty drafts just because I feel like they're looking for a third guy there. Like last year, they were that desperate middle season that they went out and signed Julio Jones. So, I don't know that Wilson's necessarily going to have a role on day one, but I mean, it's one of the better offenses in the league, and injuries do happen. They did pay both Devontae and AJ Brown, which is a whole other thing. because you don't really see a lot of teams pay both their top 2 receivers. Usually they pick one or the other. The Eagles paid them both, on top of paying the quarterback and paying like some of the other guys they're paying. So I'm not saying it can't work, but it's just one of those just take it and wait and see approach.
I think the Eagles recognize their window's already been open for a couple of years. Things need to happen soon, so they're doing what they got to do, and they'll deal with it on the back end later. Now, Devonta Smith, one of the top receivers in the NFC East, but arguably the top receiver in the NFC East, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb, the cornerstone of my dynasty team, which is very, very nice. Hopefully for his sake, the Cowboys get off their ass and get him signed to a contract extension sometime soon. But Cowboys have a history of sort of dragging their feet when it comes to this sort of thing, and then paying top dollar for whoever the player is at the time. They've done it with Dak. They did it with Zeke. They're probably going to wind up doing it with both CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. So let's just say I'm glad I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm glad that's not my problem.
Shout out Corey Parson. We've got everybody loves a kicker card, Evan McPherson.
Everybody loves a kicker, yes. Unfortunately, you did not pull Justin Tucker, which is the one kicker that I would want to grab in this pack. But then again, there's a lot of cards in this pack. So the night is young.
There we go. We got Kareem Hunt here.
Kareem Hunt. I actually just dropped him in the Dynasty League.
Yeah, it's probably time to check out on him.
Yeah, he's just one of those guys, especially when you're in deeper Dynasty Leagues like this. I held on to him last year, even though he was unsigned for all of training camp. And then he got signed once Chubb's injury happened, and now he's still unsigned. And I feel like with him, he's basically at the end of the line. Like, he wasn't really good last year. I mean, it's funny saying somebody's like washed up at like 27, or 28, however old Kareem Hunt is. But
for a running back,
yeah, you kind of are at that age. So it's one of those things where I was just like, I'm never going to play him. I'm just tying up a roster spot for the sake of tying up a roster spot. I need a little more flexibility.
Let's see here. Another running back who's probably not going to get a ton of burn this year, Caleb Huntley. Let's see who else we got here.
Not on that roster. He probably won't. I mean, even if Bijan got hurt, like Tyler Algier, I kind of feel for Tyler Algier, not just because I have him in this league, but like also like Tyler Algier should be running. He's a good running back. Like, he should be running for 1,400 yards somewhere.
Let's see here. We got Jair Alexander, picture with the Green Bay Packers there. Let's see.
Yeah, good cornerback and good self-appointed team captain.
We got Nick Bolton there with the Chiefs. Let's talk about this guy here, Brock Purdy with the 49ers.
I mean, what's there to say about Brock Purdy that hasn't already been said?
It's said, yeah. I mean, let's see if he does. If he plays the way he played last year, this year again, I'm more open to the MVP talk for him. But last year, it's like he's not even the best player on his own team, and that's not a knock against him. It's just there are a lot of strong players on the Niners. So, does it again this year? I'll certainly entertain the MVP conversation more.
Yeah, I mean, at some point when he keeps doing it, at some point I'm gonna have to acknowledge that he's actually a good player. I just don't think I've quite gotten there yet. And even the Super Bowl is like, if the offensive line just held up for like another split second more, like they probably win that game.
I mean, I acknowledge him as a good quarterback. I'm just not ready to throw him in. He's MVP worthy yet. Like that. Let's let the jury sit out on that one. Let's see here. We got Austin Hooper, who bounces around all the time. I don't even know what team he's on right now, actually.
Who cares?
Yeah. And then let's talk about the Colts tight ends here, because Jelani Woods is supposed to be the guy, but he keeps getting hurt. You got Kyler Granson there. I mean, they didn't take Brock Bowers. I mean, the Raiders got to them before he could, but I really hope Jelani Woods puts it together, just because like this guy's taking a spot in my other league that I'd love to do something with.
I'm out on all those guys. I've been stashing Will Mallory just in case, and I feel like that's an even worse situation than Kyler Granson and Jelani Woods in front of him. So I'm just out.
Another guy that gets hurt but is really talented and contributes on the field when he's there, Jalen Phillips.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna be ready for week 1, because I think he's also coming off an Achilles or torn ACL or
one of those.
One of them. Yeah, one of those. So, well, hopefully for his sake, he gets well soon, gets back on the field.
This is staying in the state of Florida, and this guy just got paid, Mr. Antoine Winfield Jr.
I couldn't believe that contract, that they made him the highest paid. Well, not that necessarily that they made him the highest paid safety in the league, because I think you could argue he's the best safety in the league, but just that a team's paying that much money for a player at that position.
Yeah. Again, and you know what I always love is like when you see like, okay, he just got paid, is like he's now the highest paid safety in the league. But don't worry, like 2 weeks from now, somebody else is going to get a contract at that position, and they're going to be the highest. You know, it's like just it never stops, and then teams wonder why the salaries get out of control.
Well, I mean, the cap just keeps going up, so it's not real money. That's that's kind of the thing. Like Jared Goff just got his extension a couple days ago, and he's gonna be the highest paid quarterback in the league until Dak Prescott beats it.
Next year
or whatever or whenever.
Let's see. We got Grant Delpit here. Speaking of good safeties, there he's a strong one there for Cleveland. Famous Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I believe he's now the backup in Cleveland behind
yes, he
behind your old pal Deshaun there. I don't know why I said your old pal, but
it's not like I was going to the clubs with him.
I hope not.
To bring it full circle, that's also a guy who probably looks his nose down about porn, because he's going and getting it for real.
No, see him. I think he's different. I think he just nothing but watch porn.
Fair. Well, if you're listening, let us know what you do or watching. Now we got.
Honestly, don't let me know what you do. If Deshaun's watching this, I really don't care. Like, you do you. Just don't sexually assault people, allegedly.
Yeah, that's all. Just do that and you'll be fine. Let's see here. We got Bailey Zappi, who had a little bit of a run there with the Patriots, but that seems to be over.
Yeah, that'll probably be a fun little card you could offer up to Coop one day, and you'd be like, "Hey, remember when Bailey Zappi was a thing?
Remember when you were considering picking him up in Superflex leagues? Remember that? Let's see here. Geno Smith. Let's keep the quarterback train going. Do we worry Sam Howell's taking a job from him at some point?
No, because that might happen at some point this season. But like, if the Seahawks decide that like Geno Smith's not the franchise quarterback, like they're not going to say that Sam Howell's the answer. They're going to go out and draft somebody next year.
Well, you don't think a 5th round pick can do it? Let's see here. Guy who's bounced around the last couple of years, but seems to have found a home with the Saints and can hopefully help. Chase Young.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add.
I mean, he I don't want to say bust, but he's definitely starting to hover around that status, considering he was a 2nd overall pick.
I think he'll ultimately be fine. I mean, he's dealt with injuries, a little bit of a slow recovery from that torn ACL a few years ago. Not really a great situation there in Washington to begin with, and he got traded to San Francisco, really deep team there. So
there was one play he got called out on loafing at one point, and maybe that'll turn it around for him, because it's like that's not going to be acceptable on the Niners. Like, yeah, you've got some great defensive talent around you, but you got to be pulling your weight too. Now, a defensive lineman that is not disappointed, Mr. Quinnen Williams.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And I like that him and his brother are both in the front 7 Jets defense. That's a cool little thing there. But Quinnen Williams, he is the guy that we could talk about the Jets pass rushers, and they all deserve everything they got, but it starts with Quinnen Williams commanding the attention he gets in the middle. So, Khalil Herbert here, I have no idea what's going to be his role in the Bears offense. I'm kind of stuck holding on to him in another league. I mean, I know they brought in DeAndre Swift, but he's kind of I don't know what to do with Herbert.
I think right now you just do nothing but hold.
Probably just see what happens. Maybe who knows. We got Asante Samuel Jr. there with the Chargers, good cornerback. Tim Patrick with the Broncos. Let's talk about the Giants wide receiver pecking order here, because we've got a Jalen Hyatt rated rookie.
Yeah, I thought the narrative that we've seen a little bit the last few days about the Giants having the worst wide receiver room in the league. And it's like, yeah, they did, but they also just used like the 6th overall pick on Malik Neighbors. So it's like, do they really still have the worst wide receiver room in the league? Because Malik should be good, and like I think guys like Jalen Hyatt and Wan'Dale Robinson have potential. Darius Slayton's sort of your big play receiver there. I mean, the problem with the Giants is the quarterback. Is the quarterback who holds the ball for too long and doesn't push the ball down the field. And yeah, I mean, look, I think this is going to be Daniel Jones's last year as the Giants starter or as a member of the Giants in general. I think they know he sucks. I think they know that they need to upgrade the position. They just weren't really in a position to do it this year. So they opted to take a guy who would probably be the number one receiver off the boards in most drafts if Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't sitting there. So it kind of is what it is, unfortunately, with the Giants.
I also don't blame them for going with Daniel Jones again this year because it's a really bad look to give a guy that kind of contract and then a year later be like, whoops, sorry, we got it wrong,
Right. They were sort of pot committed. I mean, the mistake was handing him the contract in the
Right.
first place. They should have just franchise tagged him, but you can't undo that mistake, unfortunately. So, I mean, now the best you can do is like not compound the issue. And compounding the issue would be, cutting him right now and carrying all that dead money. So,
and listen, like you said, Wan'Dale Robinson hasn't been healthy. Started to maybe look what he was supposed to be towards the end of last season. You're adding neighbors into the mix. They brought in Allen Robinson too. Maybe it's not the best receiver room in the league, but there's enough there that he has something to work with. The cupboard's not bare.
I haven't thought enough about it, but I'm sure there's a wide receiver room worse in the league than the Giants.
And like Devin Singletary, great. He's not like a wow running back, but I mean, he's going to at least help keep the production consistent, at least out of the backfield. Like, yes, he's not Saquon Barkley. Why do I call him Saquon? I don't know. Let's see here. We got another couple more rookies. Lou Nichols III. Don't really know much about him. Zach Evans here with the Rams, although that's a Kyron Williams backfield now, and they took Blake Corum, so don't expect much of it. Zach Evans at this point.
I don't know. I know I shouldn't laugh about it, but the rookie cards with them wearing the Guardian caps is just really funny.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I like the Guardian caps. I think it makes a lot of sense to wear for practice. There's no but they just still do pretty funny. So now we got our ice blue parallels here. The rookie we get out of the pack is Joey Porter Jr. And then let's see here. We got another cornerback, AJ Terrell with the Falcons. You want to talk about a bust, Jalen Reagor?
Oh boy.
The Eagles recovered from that pick, but man, that was a bad one.
You would wonder if the Eagles would have won the Super Bowl by now if they had taken Justin Jefferson instead.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the whole dynamic of the league. They don't go out and get AJ Brown, probably. Like all the things that could have changed by just making that one pick differently. Now, a guy who has lived up to his draft status, Chris Olave.
Yeah, he's been a pretty good receiver there for the Saints. The clear number one option there. So hopefully they start. The Saints are going to be one of those interesting teams that are going to be also in the quarterback business probably at the end of this year when they probably kick Derek Carr to the curb. So you can kind of already see the teams that are sort of lining up and positioning themselves to be in the quarterback hunt in next year's draft. You're going to have the Giants, the Saints, the Raiders are all going to be in that mix. There's probably going to be one or two other teams that we haven't even discussed. Perhaps Seattle, if they decide they want to move on from Geno Smith.
But you don't believe in Spencer Rattler?
No.
5th round pick. I mean, I could see Rattler being like a guy that has like a good 10-year career as a backup, like a guy, plays a couple games a year when you need to, but I don't think anything's going to pan out too much there. Now, the last card
this is a very doggy-esque approach by me. I watched Spencer Rattler for one game in college and he was bad. And I was just like, no, I'm out. He sucks.
I mean, that is the doggy approach sometimes. All right. So the last card of the pack, this is a insert set, all-time gridiron rings, Terrell Davis. And it's kind of got like a canvasy kind of paint texture there. It's really cool. You could see it there.
Yeah, I like that one.
This is I mean, if there's a Terrell Davis fan out there, I mean, that's a good card there for Have. Let's see. He was on top of the world in 1998 after winning his first title in January and MVP honors at Super Bowl 32. He had a 2,000-yard, 20-touchdown rushing touchdown season the following year and won the league MVP. He was a fantasy stud for a few years there. He was a top running back.
Yeah, unfortunately, the injuries kind of derailed his career and made it shorter than it ideally would have been. I'm surprised he got into the Hall of Fame, considering how short like his dominant peak was. He really only had like 3 or 4 great years, but like he was so good those 3 or 4 years. I guess obviously it was enough for him to get in.
So his first 4 years in the league, 1995, a little over 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Then 1538 the next year, 13 touchdowns, all pro season. Then 1750 with 15 touchdowns, all pro season. 2008 yards and 98, all pro season, 21 touchdowns. So like in a different way, to me, he's kind of like an Eric Lindros, where like for that 4 or 5 year window, he was amazing. He was one of the best in the league, and then kind of cliff after that.
Yeah, just is what it is, unfortunately.
But I mean, that's the running back position, and that's why that, you know, running backs like, oh, we got to get paid. But like, you know, I mean, the history shows that like max out what you can, and the teams are going to do that. So there you go, Terrell Davis, all time great running back there, and that's that concludes the pack ripping today portion of Rip N Riff, and I got to say, it was a good few packs today.
Yeah, we laughed, we cried. I didn't cry, but you know what?
I mean, I was a little bummed about the experiment, but I think the rice experiment actually helped the pack. Who knows? I wish we would have had 2 packs that I could have taken, didn't do the rice, and see if those would have been stuck together. But we'll see. Now it's time
and also stick your cell phone in it, just for a little preemptive measure there, just in case.
Just in case it's a humid day, you know.
Yeah, a little moisture from hand sweat.
Yeah, absolutely, it happens. Especially it's getting warmer out. Summer's right around the corner. Now it's time for our starting lineup figure 5. But what sport are we going to do today? Let's find out.
Only today's greatest sports heroes make it to starting lineup.
To be a winner.
Detailed uniforms, every home team, and they're official. Collect starting lineup, each sold separately.
To be a winner.
I had to get that commercial in here.
Wow, look at the production value on that.
That is an actual starting lineup commercial from the late 80s, early 90s. And I have one for each sport. I got to chop down the other one. But just the song, To Be a Winner. Yeah.
I just hope that we don't get DMCA takedown for that.
I think we'll be fine. I don't think Hasbro has a problem with us. I think they got bigger fish to fry. So, yes, it is indeed a basketball player. I figure we did a baseball pack, a hockey pack, and a football pack. Let's just, check all the boxes here. So you got 5 questions.
Is it Muggsy Bogues?
No, it is not Muggsy Bogues. Although I think they have a starting lineup for him. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check, but I think they do have one.
This is the first NBA player I could think of. You can determine yourself whether or not you want to count that as one of my 5 questions. Is this player an NBA champion?
This player is an NBA champion.
Did this player win his championships with the Houston Rockets?
He did not. He has 1 championship.
1 championship. Okay.
And it's with a team you would associate him with, but probably not the primary team you would associate him with. 3 questions to go.
Is this player a basketball Hall of Famer?
He sure is.
He sure is. Now I'm really trying to rack my brain because, the Bulls won those 6 titles in the 90s, and I don't know if it's somebody from one of those teams because they won 6 championships. At least the core guys did.
I'll say this. He did not win his championship until, I'm not going to say much later in his career, but his career had been well established by the time he won it with another team. And his career started in the mid-90s.
Right.
Uno más.
1 more or 2 more?
Oh, 2 more. Sorry. Dos más.
Did this player win his championship with the Los Angeles Lakers?
Did not win it with the Lakers. That is a good team to go and get your 1 championship with, but it was not with them.
I have an idea who this might be, just from context clues. Did this player ever win a major award, such as Rookie of the Year?
Yes, he has won multiple awards of that ilk, we'll say. I don't want to say which ones because that could really put it home
really
for you.
narrow it down, but you kind of see where I'm going here with this. All right, I'm going to take a shot in the dark here. Is it Jason Kidd?
Oh, sorry. It's not. The buzzer needs to be louder. 2 weeks in a row, we're not unboxing anything. Kevin Garnett.
Ah, damn it.
That's why I threw
former MVP. Probably should have got.
I think that's why I threw out the mid-90s reference. And the reason I picked the Timberwolves, the Timberwolves are they're in quite the series with the Nuggets right now. It's been entertaining. So I figured tie those themes together. But there's KG 97 edition in the white uniform there. You can kind of see the Timberwolves pants there. Good starting lineup.
Yeah, won his championship. And when you said it started in the mid-90s, I'm thinking it's Jason Kidd because he won that championship with the Mavericks as a bit player. That's sort of where I was going with that.
Oh, good guess. But yeah, he got Garnett, and that's what you mentioned the awards. He was the Defensive Player of the Year in 08. He was the 04 MVP, 12-time All-Defensive, 9-time All-NBA, 4-time rebounding champ. 15-time All-Star. What a career Garnett had. And he also was in that Adam Sandler movie, wasn't he?
Uncut Gems, yes.
Yeah.
And he's also in those BetMGM commercials with Jamie Foxx, which is a little less memorable.
Did he have a scene with Mike Francesa in Uncut Gems? Am I remembering that correctly or no?
Did he? Well, I never saw the movie, so
okay.
I don't know.
I feel like they may have.
I heard Francesa was very good in the movie.
For what he did in the movie, yes, it was. It was good. It's worth watching. I think it's a good movie. But he will not be joining the starting lineup studio audience. Next week, maybe we'll have somebody new join. But this week, I decided to go since I was in Sacramento on Monday night for the Pearl Jam concert. I did a shout out to Sacramento this week. So we got 3 Mitch Richmonds, 96, 93, and 97. And then Kevin Johnson, the former mayor of Sacramento, 91 edition there. So that's our shot. I actually had a 4th Mitch Richmond. I could have gone all 4 Mitches, but I figured let's get the former mayor of the town who's also a Phoenix Sun point guard in there.
General rule of thumb, I should probably stop asking basketball Hall of Famer when it's a basketball player, if it's a Hall of Famer, because I forget they let anybody in the Hall of Fame. Case in point, Mitch Richmond.
Good shooter, yes, but
But
borderline.
not really a Hall of Famer. If we're being honest. I guess for the basketball Hall of Fame he is, but
he's borderline. I'll say that. But yeah, if those guys are getting in, I'm just looking at what basketball players I have unboxed that are still boxed that are not Hall of Famers. There's a couple. There's not as many, but most of them are absolutely Hall of Famers. But yeah, there's a couple of outliers there. Which Hall of Fame do you think has the least value in terms of getting in? Is it basketball? Is it baseball?
I think football is probably the toughest to get into, just because it's the most players and they only let in 5 a year, plus the senior guys. I think baseball has done the most to water down their Hall of Fame by the writers basically being the gatekeepers and not letting any of the steroid guys in. So I don't know how much legitimacy I give the baseball Hall of Fame anymore. Basketball, they basically let anybody in, and hockey, I feel like it's the old boys club with hockey. You get in if the writers liked you, basically.
The one I'm interested in with the Hockey Hall of Fame every year is the Foster Hewitt Award. Whoever gets in, from the TV play-by-play guy, radio guys, to see those guys get their love. The guys like the Bob Miller of the Kings, who called games forever. Sam Rosen of the Rangers, who that is going to be a sad day in Ranger country when Sam Rosen is no longer the TV play-by-play voice for MSG Network. And he's been doing it since '86. I've never had another guy call Ranger games for the local cable. So
yeah, almost 40 years. He's an institution.
Yeah, there we go. Now, again, don't forget. We got a couple of comments here. Let's see what we got here. Anthony Rivera earlier in the show, a beautiful Ducks card. I got to do a better job of keeping on that eye on the screen. And then he loves the design for those Fleer 95 cards there. So thanks, Ant Rivera, for tuning in. And speaking of Anthony Rivera, he's with me on Total Hockey Now, which you can catch on Tuesdays at 5 Eastern and clips all week long, along with Christopher Murray. Have a lot of fun on that show. Jared can catch his work about with the Devils at allaboutthejersey.com. They still have a coaching vacancy to fill. And of course, if you're a fan of the poker, at Jared Moore Poker, new short up there as well for Mr. Jared. Any closing thoughts here, sir?
No.
No? You're content with today's episode? We're all good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm ready to move on with my day.
All right, cool. I like it. Me too. Stuff to do. I got to eat lunch. I got leftover Wingstop I'm excited for, so I'll have to start chowing down on that. But for at Mr. Jared Moore, I'm at Pucking Thoughts. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. We'll be back with you next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern at noon Pacific with a new episode of Rip N Riff here on the Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Rip N Riff Network.